It's my pleasure to introduce next today Dr. Fardous Hosseiny, President and CEO of the Atlas Institute for Veterans and Families, a research institute sponsored by Veterans Affairs Canada. Welcome and thank you for joining us today, Fardous.
Thank you, Dr. McCallum, and good morning, everyone. As James mentioned, my name is Fardous Hosseiny, and I'm the President and CEO of the Atlas Institute for Veterans and Families, formerly known as the Center of Excellence on PTSD. And again, I want to thank Dr. McCallum and Dr. Busey for inviting our organization to offer a brief update on our work. I'd also like to acknowledge that the Atlas Institute for Veterans and Families is located in Ottawa on the traditional and unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people. Anecdotally, and through the findings of our recent research and knowledge gap analysis, we found that patterns relating to co-occurring mental health conditions and substance use is a priority interest in the veteran and veteran family space. And specifically, cannabis and mental health is an area of strong interest in CAF and RCMP veteran community. There's so much more we have yet to learn. And we know that this work, or any work in this area, needs to be guided by the expertise of veterans and families with lived and living experience. So the way we're hoping to address that need is we're working in collaboration with the Mental Health Commission of Canada to co-host a series of virtual dialogue series to identify research priorities and knowledge needs in the areas of mental health and cannabis with the veteran community or within the veteran community. And this will include exploring challenges and opportunities for future research and knowledge mobilization investments. The series of dialogue sessions, which will be four, will engage veterans, veteran family members, service providers, and researchers to explore key questions around cannabis and mental health. The first session will be really looking at the experiences and the questions directly from veterans, so including those of former RCMPs, and asking them, what it is that they want to learn more about, what are some of the targeted questions that they don't have answers to, and what are some of the gaps that they noticed in the research. So it's really working in close collaboration with veterans to ask those questions. The second session is, talking and working with veteran family members or family members of veterans and former RCMP. It's really how do you support your loved ones in this mental health journey. So that'll be the second session. The third is, targeting service provider knowledge needs. So how do you support your clients, in this case, veteran, their cannabis use and their mental health. So this will be directed to service providers. And then the fourth session will be working with researchers, talking to them about current and emerging areas of researchers. And many of the people on the screen here will be invited to that conversation. We're looking forward to having a collaboration and conversation to identify what is it that you're doing in this space, what is it that others are doing in this space, so we're not duplicating our efforts or reinventing the wheel, and collectively we can move the needle forward on cannabis mental health and in the veteran family space. And through these four sessions, we want to know what questions they each have about cannabis and mental health so that we can better understand the needs, create resources to answer the questions we can answer, and prioritize research to answer the questions that we can't. So we're currently inviting individuals to participate in these 90-minute closed dialogues. We aim to engage about 15 to 20 individuals in each session. And once the sessions are complete, we'll be releasing a public-facing report that highlights the identified knowledge needs and research priorities and looks to offer recommendations for how to better engage veteran and veteran family members in cannabis and mental health research. So this is something that we've heard quite a lot from the community is it's important to be doing this research, but don't do it in isolation of our engagement. Really make sure that you're including us from the brainstorming stage to research work to the dissemination stage and not just as participants in the project. So let us help inform what are the research questions, what are the questions that you need to be asking and how to best include us in that process. So we're looking to make a few recommendations for the community as a result of these sessions. And then once we have the findings, from the dialogue series, there will be a few ways we'll be mobilizing that as, we do research, but knowledge mobilization is a critical piece of the work that we do. And the way we'll be mobilizing these findings is through town hall sessions. So we'll be hosting one or two town hall sessions, with veteran family members to inform them of what we've learned. We'll be hosting a public webinar, so this will be accessible to everyone. And then we'll be doing a few presentations at conferences and forums. So again, these are only three mechanisms or three vehicles of how we're hoping to mobilize that information and get it out to the collective. And as I mentioned, these outputs will hopefully, time permitting or sticking to our timelines, will be available in fall. And from there, our knowledge mobilization team will use those findings to develop informational resources that answer the questions that can be answered. And additionally, the findings from the dialogue series will help guide the Atlas Institute's research agenda for the upcoming 3 to 5 years. So as many of you know, this is a priority area for many individuals and many organizations, and we're hoping to leverage these conversations to help inform our research agenda and to help other partners in this space. In addition to these dialogue series, the Atlas Institute is supporting 2 research projects. One is being led by Dr. Suzette Bermolo-Phillips out of the University of Alberta and Dr. Rebecca Robillard out of the Royal Institute of Mental Health Research. So Dr. Bermolo-Phillips' research will examine cannabis use by Canadian veterans and its impact on their health, well-being, and quality of life. And this proposed study will provide Veterans Affairs Canada with much needed information regarding cannabis use patterns, as well as perceived risks, benefits, and harms of cannabis use to veterans and others in relationship with them. And the aim of Dr. Robillard's research is to garner a better understanding of the nature and heterogeneity of patterns of use, experiences, and mental health profiles linked to cannabis use in veterans with PTSD. In order to address the aim, the proposed research protocol will incorporate the contributions of knowledge users and those with lived experience into a mixed methods approach that will allow for the characterization of patterns of medical cannabis use in veterans with PTSD and determine how cannabis use relates to mental health outcomes and potential adverse effects in this population. And these 2 projects that we're just a part of, are funded through CIHR and the Mental Health Commission of Canada's funding. So again, it speaks to the power of having different entities working together to move the collective needle forward on mental health in this cannabis space. So those are just a few of the updates on our front. We are a bit of a newer organization, but we really envision that for us to ask the right questions and for us to be doing the right work, we have to first connect with the community, community of veteran family members, service providers, and other researchers to find out what is the questions that they want answered, what are the questions that can't be answered and need more research, and what are some of the work that other researchers are doing that we don't want to be duplicating. And then again, service providers being a key audience, we know that they're the ones who are offering direct service delivery and they're engaging with veteran and family members almost on a daily basis. What can we do to help equip them with the right information and educational pieces to be better informed to then support the community? So those are just, again, brief update on the work that we're doing in the space. And I know once we have some of the findings from these dialogue series, we'll be keen to bring that forward to James and Jason. And again, we're working already quite closely on different projects, and we'll be able to help others as well if they're interested in learning more, or even if they want to be invited to that, please feel free to reach out to our organization and we can see what we can do. So that's just quite a bit of brief update on our end. Thanks, James.
Thank you, Dr. Hosseiny. Are there any questions? If you do have some questions, feel free to put them into the chat or into the Q&A, and Dr. Hosseiny can answer them as we move on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hosseiny. It's great to hear about the involvement you have with your veteran partners to help inform the research priorities. We absolutely look forward to the findings from your dialogue series and for opportunities to partner. And I'm sure other individuals on the meeting call right now are also very interested in what you find. So please, we'll keep an eye out, and please keep us abreast of the results of that.